Yo, what's going on? Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, and this is Bully Rants. This one, we are just going to get into the basic aspects of breeding, and I can give, I can give you some of my thought process when I do breedings. Sometimes you'll see a male, in particular on my yard, it'll be Mandela a lot of times, where Mandela physically is just, he's a monster. Not very tall at all, right around that 17-inch mark or a little bit below. And he's 96 pounds when I'm dieting him. He can go over 100 pounds. He can, once he gets that big, his head can get up to 26 inches. But the thing about him is being that big, that's pushing the line for me. So sometimes you'll see me come back and I'll do a breeding with a more chiseled, more refined female that has certain qualities that I wanna use in my breeding program. And this is what I tell you: you have to remember, in the long term, you're thinking of consistency. And in the immediate term, you have an idea of what you want, and that's the two different aspects of breeding. For me right now, I haven't reached the total consistency part. I can produce a look, I can produce a roundabout size, but at this point in time, I'm still refining to get a collection of dogs that I will consider more so the finished products of what I want, then to move on to consistency, to where it's almost like a factory, to where you're producing the same type of dogs. They all look alike time after time after time. Now, going back to the simple parts of breeding is, you have to have an understanding of the dogs that you're dealing with also. Like if you have a small female, but her mother was a big girl, her father was a big girl, you have to take both things into accountability. Now, why I say that is this: you can have that little girl, but her genes say that she probably can throw a bigger dog, but at the same time, it's something in her genes that made her be short also. So you have to balance that out, and sometimes it takes a little bit of research to see what bloods bring that out. What's the family traits that go to this, or is this something totally new and you really don't know what to expect, so you almost doing a little bit of guesswork to try to figure out what you want to do. But you have to take everything into consideration, and that goes down to tails, that goes down to the bite, that goes down to muscle tone, skin looseness. I mean, every aspect of this dog, you have to really search and do your research, start putting some numbers together to see exactly how these dogs should mesh when they're together. It's not just as simple as picking the next hot stud and saying, what, this is perfect for me and I'm going to do this and I'm going to see what I can get. That's one of our biggest problems in this community, is everybody's searching for the hot stud, but they don't acquire the basic knowledge or even do the basic studying to push the envelope to find out the proper breeding techniques and what goes well. And that also includes health issues. I've seen people many times that breed two dogs together that are both known for having the same health issues, and for whatever reason, I don't know if they just choose to ignore it or they don't have the knowledge or what it is, but they create a litter of puppies that are all but certain to have, whether it's breathing problems or bad hips or whatever the issue is. They compound this, and it's the same thing, compounding a good gene and compounding a bad gene. It's the same, it's the same thing, just totally different ends of the spectrum. Just like if you want a head, if you want that head gene, you breed dogs that have continuously had heads, and these pedigrees, you should see a bunch of dogs with very nice heads. Yeah, I've even got girls well, I got one now, but I've had girls who've had little peanut heads. Their heads are very terrier, but if you looked at their pedigree, like 90% of the dogs on there had big blocks. And what did they throw? If you put them with a dog with a big head, they continuously threw those big heads. So it's just a little bit of research, and sometimes it's calling different breeders and finding out the little nuances of each breed. I know certain parts in my particular blood, with the D-line blood, one thing that's for certain is if you take brother, sister, or even a grandfather, granddaughter, or vice versa, however you want to do it, we've seen an incredible amount of bulliness that comes out of that. It's almost weird. We've seen great results when you take it to Bistro's blood. We've seen great results when you take it to you know, you take it back to Paco blood, which is already in it. You know, we've always seen, I personally have always seen results just being more on a broad spectrum of taking a big female and running that to a smaller male, and you know, those compact genes to those massive genes, always get something right in between, you know, but it's not consistent. I don't get whole litters like that, but I get the two that I was wanting, which is a, you know, a smaller big dog. But one of my favorites that most people like don't even do anymore with taking big males to smaller females. You know, a lot of times it does lead to having C-sections and stuff, but the productions were phenomenal. That female has the genes, for whatever reason, it always seems like in the bullies that little female has the genes to compact even the more like massive males, and you get that in between. You still get that size, but you get that girth and everything else that you were looking for from the bigger dog. But I mean, this is a long process that we could talk about forever. But the one thing I encourage everybody to do, and I have one of them over there, I meant to grab it before I came on video, but you know, get you a journal, you know, and as you know, we spend so much time on Facebook, throughout the days, you know, chart. If you see a dog that you like, chart his blood. Hey, what's that pedigree? You know, how tall is he? Write it down. Write it down. So as you go along, you'll have almost a glossary of how these different bloods work in our community. This will help you become a better breeder. We have to get off of that thing of one big breeding to the right stud, or get you a badass female to the right stud, and it's gonna make all the difference in the world. Yeah, sometimes you get the dogs you're looking for, but wouldn't it be better if you could produce the dog you're looking for every single time you breed? And this is, you know, and this is the art of breeding. This is the science of breeding. It's not about just putting two dogs together. It's a lot of research that goes into it. It's a lot of analytics sometimes that goes into it, and it's a lot of you know, understanding the blood, and in particular, you know, sometimes just the dogs that you have, because we all know once you breed a dog a couple times, you can see exactly what they throw and know how to work with it. But you know, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. I'm more than willing to answer any questions on this topic on the page, or you can hit me on Hall of Fame Bullies. That's my Facebook page, or American_Bully1, and that's Instagram. Hit me up on any of them pages, man, and we can get it in. We can talk dogs all day. We don't have enough time on the video. That's my son just yelling. That was a bad breeding. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.